Drum roll. Next, crossing blades. We have Bugout versus Bugout. What's up, you two? John back out here with another crossing blades, and we have the Benchmade Bugout versus the Benchmade Bugout. Now, why are we doing a crossing blades of the two Bugouts? Well, wow, I just hit the table. This is technically the Blade HQ version of the Benchmade Bugout with the G10 handles and in 20CV with the green standoffs. Now, this knife has been discontinued, okay? So, why am I showing this knife then? Well, I'm showing this knife because in their custom shop, if you go to Benchmade's website, you could still get these options. You could still get a G10 option, obviously different colors. You could still choose different colored backspacers, and you could choose if you want 20 CV or other. They have S30v. I don't remember if they're doing M4. I know they have some exclusive M4s, but can't remember if they offer it as a custom option. You can get coated and non-coated blades. Obviously, they have G10, they have titanium. They have a few different options. Go to their website. You can see all their options. So my thing is with this crossing blades is it worth going to the 20 CV, or is the S30v still just as great? Now, in my opinion, I think both knives have great benefits to each of them. Now, one benefit I will say, even though I don't mind the Grivery scales, I don't mind it. One benefit is the G10 scales. The G10 are way more rigid. I mean, I am really pushing down to try to get the Flex D scales, and they are not budging. As you could see, let me see if I can open it up. The G10s are not hollowed out basically in any way except for where the crossbar lock inserts go in. So as you could tell, that's the only place that they get milled out, where the Grivery scales, whatever you want to call it, they do get milled out to help with weight. So I will say, as far as that, there is a slight bonus to the G10 scales. As far as weight, yes, the G10 ones obviously weigh a little bit more, but it's not so much more that it's like, oh my goodness, they just are weighing my pockets down. It's not like you added titanium scales on or brass scales. Titanium and brass will definitely weigh down the knife a lot. I have done that with past Bugouts where I added on, what's it called? What were they? Yeah, they were titanium. Sorry, I also had an aluminum set that I tried to put on, but that's a whole nother story. So I just wanted to just remember if it was actually titanium or not. They were titanium. And then I also added on the brass scales to a PM2, so that's a different story. But anyways, so yes, they do add a little bit of weight, but you're talking fractions of an ounce. I mean, nothing major. As far as coated versus uncoated blade, I personally like uncoated blades. I have no issue with uncoated blades, especially if the blade material is fairly resistant, stain resistant. 20CV and S30v are both stain resistant. So really the black blade on the 20CV, in my opinion, is purely aesthetic. So, I mean, it's very high resistant, type of coating, basically, or type of metal, but then you got a nice resistant coating. I cannot 100% remember if they actually call this a DLC coating, but it is a amazing coating that they put on, because, I mean, I've done cutting with this, and all you could see is a few little scuffs. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm pretty sure that was when I put my flashlight on there to, I was using the magnet on my flashlight for that, and I'm pretty sure that's what scuffed that. So as far as I'm concerned, the coatings on Benchmade that they put on their blade are very durable. So coating versus no coating, as far as I'm concerned, it's a draw. Now, as far as how the knife feels in the hand, obviously they're both Bugouts. They both have very similar ergonomics. I will say, and it's very, very minor, and I wonder if I can catch it on the camera. The G10 does have a little bit of a belly right here And I can't tell if it's the whole scale. I know it's right here. I mean, mostly because that's where I feel it. There is a slight belly to it, which does give it a little bit more of a feeling in the hand that it has, that's filling out your hand. Honestly, if I could get if I could get these scales and like a blue G10 on this knife, to keep the same blue aesthetic, I would be happy with that. I like the blue and the silver blade aesthetic of this knife. It's easy to see. It pops out. It's no issue. But as far as blade material, 20CV obviously is supposed to have a little higher edge retention. It's a little less tough than S30V. It has a little more stain resistance, and this is a little bit easier to sharpen. As far as I'm concerned, if you have a good sharpening system, good strops, and good technique, both are perfectly fine, although I do find S30V to be a little more easy to maintain. And as far as edge retention wise, you're not seeing that much of a difference between the two. So as far as edge retention, should I go with 20CV? Should I stay with S30V? Yeah, I mean, maybe you might get a few more cuts with the 20CV, but like I said, if it's almost it's a seesaw. Okay, this you might get a few, not as many cuts, but this will strap back like nothing. This you get a few more cuts with the 20CV, but it's not as easy to strap back. Not saying it's hard to strap back, but I'm just saying it takes more time to strap this back versus the S30V. So as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to the blade steels, I kind of feel like it's a draw, because are you willing to, because if I could just strap back my knife a lot easier and I don't have to do as many sharpening sessions, that might be a nice thing. But if the knife edge is lasting longer, then you don't have to do as much stropping or sharpening back. That's the other draw too. So it's really a tie. Do you want a little more edge retention? It's kind of like So who's winning in this ultimate battle? Should you pay the extra money to get a custom version, or if a company like Blade HQ or other companies come out with an exclusive with G10? I think the G10 is well worth it. As far as I'm concerned, I think the G10 knives are way more solid and rigid. And sometimes when a knife company or a company does a exclusive knife, sometimes the cost is not that much more. Like I remember when both of these were out, I think the normal Benchmade at the time was around 150-ish, give or take. It was around 150-ish, and these were going on sale all the time for around 160. So you were getting G10 scales and 20CV for an extra 10, 20 bucks. You know what I mean? So when it came to that, I thought, yeah, you know what? I'll take the extra little edge retention, and I'll definitely the G10 scales is what makes it worth it for me. But as far as blade for blade, what wins out there? I mean, it's so hard to say, because would you rather have easier maintenance or better edge retention, a little bit better edge retention? Coating versus uncoated, that's personal preference. Some people don't like coating, some people do. I really don't. It doesn't really bother me if a knife is coated versus uncoated. I prefer uncoated. I feel like it goes through material better. Maybe the coat, sometimes whenever I cut with the coating, I feel like it gets a little stickier, but I mean, maybe it's just my imagination. Who knows? So in this crossing blades, which we're not going to talk too much more because they're both Bugouts and they're both basically similar ergonomics. As far as I'm concerned, this wins for handle. The blades are a tie. Coating versus uncoating, personal preference. In the hand, the grippiness, I will say that this is definitely grippier feeling. It's got a almost like a powdery kind of grippy feeling to it that is not going away. This is definitely a sleeker but it's sleeker feeling, but it's got a tackiness in a way. But either way, they're both awesome knives. So tell me what you think. Tell me if you decided to pay the extra for either a exclusive or if you custom made a Bugout, because you were like, hey, I really like the features that Benchmade has on their website. Or if you were like me, let me know if you were lucky to pick up an exclusive for a couple bucks more than what they were selling the normal version for. Or if you're like, you know what, I perfectly love the original version, I have no issue with anything, I may upgrade the scales on it, kind of a thing, but that's about it. Let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think. Take care, guys. Be safe. Bye.